How the fuck are we back in this same situation again? Who the fuck is voting for him? Genuinely.
Let's see whether or not people really believe that Adolf Hitler has just taken power. Are people now fleeing? Are people setting up opportunities to get the hell out of this place before the various systems of genocide, slaughter, and endless war are set up? Or not? Here's Greenwald posting on that. I feel like none of the people who called Trump the new Hitler are reacting or preparing as if Hitler is soon to be in power. Have all the people that emphatically claim they would be sent in Trump's camps, AOC, Maddow, Olbermann, Joubert, begun to make preparations to flee? Interesting observation. Interesting question. Well, certainly there are some extremely strong reactions. Now, I've thought a lot about whether or not to show this because I don't want to mock people that are vulnerable, but I'd like to pose this question. What is it that is making these people have such a strong reaction? Remember, Trump's been in government. I'm going to try and give a sort of a cold sort of appraisal of this situation. Imagine if the most ambitious version of what this election represents is a repetition of what happened between 2016 and 2020, what were the worst moments? Like and I'm talking from a liberal mindset. Is it when the Muslim countries couldn't fly into America? Is that it? It's a genuine question. Let me know in the comments and chat. Was it the building of the wall? It can't be that, can it though? Because Kamala Harris said she was going to build the wall and Biden wanted to build the wall. What is the most egregious thing that Trump did from a liberal perspective, liberal perspective between 2016 and 2020? And what is it that solicited this extraordinary reaction? This is what's sort of generally being referred to as the best of, leftist meltdowns. Let's have a little look.
How did we get here? How did we get here? What in the Alice in Wonderland nightmares is going on right now? All I can say is how fucking dare you?
That's interesting. That's a Greta Thunberg retread, isn't it? That how dare you? And that how dare you motif, I think a lot of people didn't like that. I admire anyone who's really sort of committed to what they believe in. It's a good attribute, isn't it, to really be committed to what you believe in? But that sort of how dare you mentality, it's just that there's a solipsism and narcissism and a grandiosity in that I feel is not going to be helpful in creating for any individual, and certainly not for a whole culture or society. That's a weird mindset.
If you voted for that man, if you voted for anybody other than Kamala,
if you vote for anyone that can't learn, listen, please, I'll try to be sort of specific and particular. I'm not saying that those people, those individuals should be sort of ridiculed or condemned. I know a lot of you will really get off on it. Like, what I'm saying is, what is making them feel that way? In the same way that we can be directed to sort of drink sort of Coca-Cola, when it's sort of not really very good for you, and I let my children drink it. Like, what kind of conditioning, what kind of coaxing, what kind of propaganda has led people to think that what's about to happen is so significant and so against their interests that it warrants this degree of emotion?
You live in one of the states that it was, close. Or if you didn't vote, fuck you.
Senate race. It's not going to happen. Go, Kamala. Will be returning to the Senate.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America. I love you.
That's people that's not very... I reckon what you'd find, remember, from a compassionate and loving perspective, that many of them people have been exposed to trauma and also now propaganda, so they connect that propaganda to their trauma, that they've had tough lives in one way or another, because everyone's had a tough life because it's tough out here. That's why you probably do need a kind of tough president for these tough times. And certainly what you need are people that are willing to get in there and look at the institutions of government. Certainly you need people that want to end war. I don't know how they've been coaxed into that state. Everyone's saying in the chat, legacy media, maybe you're right.
How the fuck is this still happening?
Right. Some people are saying some of the stuff that Trump said in the Awake and Wonder chat, like the grab 'em by the P word moment. I suppose so. But that was not a great thing to have said on tape. But when was that? And what was that? And do you think that Donald Trump's sort of really like that as a sort of a married man, as a father now? Certainly me in the past, I might have said pretty dumb things, but does it warrant that kind of hysteria? And how's that going to actually affect your... if you can't handle people saying stuff, it's going to be a tougher world.
All I've ever known politically is hatred.
Oh no, we've not only known hatred politically. I tell you what this is. Everyone is playing out their personal trauma or their personal psychosis according to external stimulants. Like me as well, you, I bet all of us are. Like we all have certain things that sort of thrum the strings of our inhered insanity. Like, you know, like you might be a person that gets intimidated by certain behavior, conduct or individuals. You might be someone who's aroused or finds certain conduct alluring. So I reckon there's a sort of a baseline of characteristics and then something happens, and particularly if you've been really heavily conditioned by media, and bam, out it comes.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
I'm sorry to all my friends who are Trump supporters. I don't understand how scared of this man I am. If this guy does end up winning again, all of the people who voted for him will be like happy and they'll just be celebrating. And everyone else, everyone who feels threatened by him is fucking scared. Like we're scared for our lives, we're scared for our friends.
That's a religious impulse has been connected to secular and managerial events. In a way, none of us should be hysterical about the outcome of the election, but I do reckon had Kamala won, I might have felt, oh, is this going to mean that like censorship's going to get worse and surveillance is going to increase and that there are going to be progressive crises that are used to legitimise further authority, telling us that they are exerting that authority only to protect us? Is this going to mean ongoing wars around the globe, supporting Ukraine to the point of annihilating their population in a war they can't win? Is this going to mean likely conflict with China rather than diplomacy? I really hope that this government, within the limits of what is possible for a government, are going to govern for global peace and democracy and subsidiarity. That's what I hope. And vulgarity and crassness are things that are evocative. We're human beings who are affected by stuff like that. But we should be more affected, I think, by deception and hypocrisy. Like, just to give you a couple of examples, building that wall after saying you weren't going to build a wall and that building that wall was so terrible. The corruption that took place during the pandemic period that's still not been addressed and might be addressed now that Bobby Kennedy's in a significant position in government. The health crisis that's going on across America, the stoking of cultural division that does take two sides to escalate. I think this could be a really good time for your country, honestly. And I think sort of rather than ridiculing and mocking the people in those videos, although it's easy, I suppose there are certain things that could make me feel that way. So, Lord, let's be compassionate.
How dare you put this man into office for another 4 years, knowing damn well what it means for our country, what it means for us as a people. To know that there is that much ignorance and that much hate in this country.
It's not ignorance and hate. But what's terrifying is that we are all so easily manipulated by media. What's heartening is that legacy media is losing its grip on people, and some of these folks will be debugged now. And I pray that they find a higher power to cling to that can warrant that level of devotion and that level of hysteria, because I'm a person that can get hysterical, and thankfully I found a God that can handle my madness, can handle my fallen nature, and can give me some guidance, some principles, some community, some encouragement. Rumble make these snacks, you see. This is a brand called Positive. It's a pet food brand that Rumble have. But also they have a pet insurance that is an affiliate to it. You know, like dogs can go from very high energy to being sick in an instant. And you know, it's like if you have to call a vet, like when they're out of hours. It's a terrible way to manage your dog's health. Not to mention it can be very stressful for you. So there's this emergency pet kit that you can get from Positive Health, which contains critical medications and supplies that can keep you out of vets and maybe even save your dog's life. So if you want to use it, go to Positive, that's spelled like P-A-W, positive.com/brand. That's Positive, P-A-W-S, itive.com/brand, and get your pet emergency kit that's got critical meds in it like activated charcoal and styptic powder, and you can get 15% off using the code BRAND today. Go to positive.com/brand and use the code BRAND to get 15% off. I like these Rumble connected organizations because they've been so supportive. Good boy. So supportive to our channel. It's great to give a little bit back. There it is.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.